Hello learners, welcome to the certificate program in food and nutrition. Today we will be covering the topic the nutritional needs of a school child, and this has been covered in the chapter Your Food and Its Utilization in CFN 2 Block 4 Unit 11. I am Dr. Namrata Singh. I am Assistant Professor at the Indira Gandhi National Open University. The structure of the lesson is that we will be studying the objectives of studying this lecture, introducing you school age children, what is the growth of school age children and what are their nutritional needs, how these nutritional needs can be met, and what are the dietary guidelines for school age children. As school meals and packed lunch have a very important place in school age children, we will be discussing about that also, and lastly we will sum it up. The objectives of this lesson are: describe the normal growth pattern of school age children, state the nutritional requirement of this age group, suggest how to meet their nutritional needs, and to plan a practical feeding schedule including a nutritious packed lunch for school age children. Which period is the school age child? It is between the preschoolers and adolescents, and this age is also known as the middle childhood. It is very difficult to define the age limits, but usually it begins at 6 years and ends at the onset of pubertal changes. The end of this period varies between gender and between different individuals. Girls mature earlier than boys, and even among girls some will mature earlier than others. So difficult to give a time period, but for convenience sake the school age children are between the ages 6 and 12 years. After the age of 13 years, children enter the adolescent years and they are then called teenagers. Just to talk a little bit more about a school age child, school age children are serene, or it is also known as a calm period, because there are fewer problems with the child than we would see either in the preschool period or during adolescence. The physical ability of the child improves as compared to the preschooler, and the child is more skillful. Child may take part in active sports and they become more independent than before. All this will have to be kept in mind while planning a diet for such people. There is a steady increase in height and weight in school age children. One of the very important aspect that we will have to keep in mind is the daily routine of school and the extracurricular activities that the child is engaged in, as the extracurricular activities will be different for different children. The nutritional requirements and the diet plan will be different. Child should perform well in studies and should be able to concentrate in school. For this, the diet of the child should be adequate and the food eaten should be adequate. We have to ensure that the school age child has adequate nutrient stores for the growth spurt that will follow, and we should be able to discuss about the growth and nutritional needs of the school age child, as well as the relevance of packed lunches and school meals for this age group. As far as growth of school age children is concerned, it is relatively slow. In the first few years, that is from 7 to 9 years, there is no differences in growth rates of boys and girls, but after 9 years, girls grow faster than boys, and sometimes by the age of 10 or 11 years, a girl may be taller and heavier than a boy of the same age. The growth of school children is very individual. Children grow at their individual pace. But in general, there is little growth in the head size, but the trunk and legs grow. Remember that brain growth has been completed during the preschool years, but the skeletal maturation happens in school age children. There is an annual increment in height of approximately 5 to 6 centimeters with girls gaining a little more than boys, but the weight increase is usually between 2 to 3 kilograms per year. So, we have to ensure that the child should gain appropriate weight as per his age and height by comparing with the standards. We should also see that the weight of the child as per his or her age should not be too high or too low from the standards. Standards are growth charts that have been developed by the World Health Organization, and WHO has given different charts for boys and girls of the height for age and weight for age. That is, in a growth chart, if we know the age of the child, we can find out what height should the child be and at what weight the child be. A child should not be overweight or underweight from these growth standards. Now, we will talk about the nutritional needs of the children. Of school going children, they have no special nutritional needs. Since children are growing, they require all the nutrients, all the macronutrients and the micronutrients. They have to be given a well balanced diet. The activity of children is different. Some children are active, some are not that active. Active children who play a lot will need more energy than children of the same age who are less active. That is, one who spends a lot of time reading or watching TV or painting or drawing. If the child is getting an adequate diet, children will have a low risk of having nutritional problems. An inadequacy in a child's diet will affect them more quickly and more severely than it would be in adults. The blood formation keeps pace with the need for increased blood supply for the growing body. Children from this age group have more resistance to disease than the preschoolers. To talk more about the nutritional needs of children, girls should have an adequate iron intake so that they have sufficient iron stores before they reach menarche. Undernutrition may have serious consequences. If the child is undernourished, he or she will become easily tired and will not be able to perform well in school, or will not be able to do physical activities well or fully. And if the child is undernourished, then such a child may be more susceptible to infection. Unit 3 discusses the food guide to give the child a well balanced diet. So, what is this well balanced diet for a school going child? It should have the macronutrients and micronutrients in the right amounts. The child should be getting an adequate amount of foods from all the food groups, and child should be fed at regular intervals. Different children have different appetites and needs, so we have to work individually with each child. Then we have to use the suggested daily proportions as a rough guide. Up to the age of 10 or 11, boys and girls do not differ much in the food needs. Here there is a sample menu for a school going child. The breakfast could consist of a cereal product such as a paratha or upma or bread or dalia with milk or egg or sprouts and a fruit being included in the breakfast. Lunch could have a cereal like chapati, rice. It could contain leafy vegetable, a katori of dal, some salads and some food from the milk food group such as dahi or lassi. Tea time, the child could have tea or milk with some biscuits or chikki, bread and butter. At dinner, dinner could be the same as lunch, comprising of rice or roti or chapati with some vegetable, dal, curd and salad. Here are the amounts of food groups that a child between the age of 16 to 12 years should be eating per day. So, milk should be around 5 servings, which means 500 ml. This milk can comprise of milk, curd, lassi, paneer. Dal should comprise of 2 servings, which means 60 grams of dal. Vegetables should include yellow, green and orange colored vegetables, should be around 3 servings, means 300 grams. Roots and tubers like potato, onions could be 1 serving, means 100 grams. Fruit, at least 1 fruit should be taken by a child per day. Sugar can be 4 to 6 servings, which means 20 to 30 grams. Oil, fat can be added and should be added to the food while cooking, which comprises of 6 to 7 servings, which means 30 to 35 grams. And lastly, cereals and millets should comprise of the maximum, that is 6 to 8 servings, which is approximately 180 to 240 grams per day. It is very essential to meet the nutrient needs of a school going child. During early part of school age, child may have a poor appetite. The child will be eating more amount of food and in some cases will accept a wider range of dishes. Feeding problems is less in school age child as compared to teenagers. Likes and dislikes have been established, but they are not necessarily permanent, and therefore, at this age a child should be introduced to various foods and we should establish a good healthy eating habit. We should give a wide variety of foods as possible. Starting school age, the child spends a lot of time in the school and according to that a child's eating habit has to be decided. As a large part of the child's time is spent in school, so the meal timings should be adjusted as per the child's school and extracurricular schedule. But a breakfast is very important for a school going child, as a hungry child cannot concentrate and participate fully in the learning experience. Therefore, always child should go to school after eating a breakfast. In the breakfast, cereals should be included. Along with that, a protein rich food like milk, egg can be included, as well as a fruit which supplies some vitamin C should be included at the time of breakfast. Lunch should supply about 1/3 of the child's requirements. For many children, it is necessary to provide a packed lunch as the lunch time falls during the school timings, the packed lunch becomes very important. And when the child comes home from school, depending upon the time, again something should be fed to the child. The child of this age group becomes so involved with other activities that it is difficult to get him or her to sit down and eat. They may eat a little and rush back to whatever they were doing. Later, they again feel hungry and want to eat a snack. So, this snack has to be very nutritious. If snacks are given, encourage the child to eat nutritious ones instead of taking chocolates or wafers. Frizzy drinks, cold drinks should be avoided. The child learns by example. So, if the attitude that such foods as wafers and chocolates are to be eaten occasionally and put a definite limit on the amount of sweets the child would develop healthy eating habits. Some more points to be kept in mind while planning a diet for school age children. The daily diet should include 2 to 3 servings of fruits or vegetables, and try to include green leafy or yellow vegetables about 3 to 4 times a week. Include a citrus fruit, as this is a good source of vitamin C. Many children may dislike vegetables. However, try to feed them vegetables and make the preparations attractive and tasty. By doing so, by preparing colorful and attractive dishes, the child may start eating vegetables. And another very important part is that they may need to eat 4, 5 or 6 times a day to meet their nutrient requirements. Another thing to be kept in mind in school going children is that permanent teeth have started erupting by the age of 6 years. So, guard against caries formation in children, because now they have permanent teeth. Caries formation occurs because of poor dental hygiene, especially after consumption of sweet foods. Prevent this by ensuring that the child brushes and cleans teeth well in the morning and at night, and do not give too many sweet foods. The dietary guidelines for school age child is: advocate healthy eating habits among children during growth. Don't skip breakfast, as this is very important for the child to concentrate in school. Carry a nutritious and interesting tiffin and avoid eating in school canteen. Avoid junk food which just provides empty calorie with no proteins and micronutrients. Avoid fried, oily and sweet foods to prevent caries. Eat more of fruits and vegetables. Drink plenty of water. Instead of fizzy drinks and aerated water, it is better to drink water, plain water. Include fruits from all food groups and serve food in appropriate amounts to meet the needs of the child. We will talk a little bit about the packed lunch and school meals. Most children lunch time will be during the school hours. So, the lunch should provide the child with 1/3 of the daily nutrient needs. Most of the time the child will have to take a packed lunch to school. Points to remember for a packed lunch: it should be easy to eat and should not spill or leak. So, avoid giving oily or liquid preparations. If you are giving liquid preparations, they would have to be given in bottles which are sealed properly. The oil and liquid could leak out from the box and spill over the child's books. If chutneys and sauces are given, they should be as dry as possible. The foods should be as dry as possible and they should be wrapped properly, as maybe the child does not get a place to sit down and eat, or even wash his hands. Many things which taste good when they are hot are not so tasty when they are cold. So, packed lunch will always be cold. So, try to pack those things which will be tasty even if they are cold. Also, the meal of the packed lunch should be attractive. Some examples of packed lunches are chapati and vegetables can be given, but ensure that a fruit is also given, or a chikki, piece, laddu can be given. Laddus and chikkis can be made beforehand, and if fruit is given, fruits like banana, guava, chiku, mosmi, orange, apple, which are easy to carry, should be given. If salad vegetables are given, like tomatoes to be given, do not cut the tomato into small pieces. A small whole tomato should be given as it is. Chutneys of coriander or mint can be given, but they should be dry and kept in a separate small container inside the lunch box. Some schools provide lunches to the students under school meal programs. So, make sure that the school is providing the children with a balanced meal. Many schools may just give snacks, especially fried foods and fried snacks. These are unhealthy, and schools should give foods like idli, sambar, chutney, vegetable sandwiches, dhokla, which are better as compared to fried foods or biscuits. Some schools may provide a full lunch as you would at home, such as rice, dal, chapati and vegetable. This is very good. The last slide, let us sum up. The growth in the school years occurs at a slow but steady pace. Except in the early school years, the appetite of the school child is quite healthy. The nutrient needs are in proportion to their growth rate and energy requirements, which will vary according to their physical activity. If the school child is malnourished, he or she will not be able to perform well in school. So, providing adequate nutrition is very important, so that the child will be able to build up adequate nutrient reserves, which will be needed during the adolescent growth spurt. Thank you.